Right, how are we, everyone? Could you please let me know if you can hear me? So please let me know in the chat. Anyone will do. I know a lot of you don't watch this live, but you watch it after hours or whatever. So I completely understand. That would be great if someone could let me know just in case. Cool, I'll start. So let's get straight into it. I haven't had a look at any of the on-chain data yet, so you're going to see my first thoughts on it. We're going to look at that. I'll explain a bit more about the Fed situation, even though I think I've probably explained it enough to you guys. So I'm hoping you're on the same page as me and you understand it, but I'll explain it again just for once more. And while we have our opinion for the next 1, 2, 3 months. And then we'll start going through some charts to see where, with that narrative, where do the opportunities lie. So that's where we're going to focus on. So let's start. So first thing we look at is the exchange net position change. As usual, this provides a good summary, if you like, of the on-chain data. Of course, you need to sort of lift up the hood and take a look at the individual metrics, but this does provide quite a good summary. So overall, we're still seeing red spikes, and I like the fact we've had a more significant red spike. Granted, it's not much, but it's still 15-20% increase on the prior day. So it's 58,000 Bitcoins have flown out of exchanges. The prior day was, I call that 50,000. So it's about a 15%, 16% increase, which is good. This is what you want to be seeing. So overall, I like this metric. So in terms of where we want to be looking now, we want to be looking at addresses. Are any of the big players, are they selling into this? And then we want to look at how active is the network. Those are the core things you're looking at. Of course, there's lots of other things that go underneath it, but those are the core things we're looking at. So let's look first at the blah, 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 blah addresses. Here we go. So let's go away. Let's look at the addresses with balance greater than 0.1 Bitcoin. I will zoom out slightly. So these guys have pretty much been the ones just accumulating throughout this. So they've actually done the best job. Because they've been accumulating at this bottom phase. However, you can see we've pretty much always just been going up. So they're always accumulating. So it's not something that this is not really a metric. You look at them and they're like, oh, great, they're accumulating, so I'll accumulate. Usually we want to be looking at the 100 and the 1K Bitcoin wallets. Those are, what are the big guys doing? We want to be sort of copying what they're doing. So those are the metrics we really look at and we really try to emulate. Let's look at addresses with balance greater than 0.1, similar to the 0.01, not too different there. 1 Bitcoin, this is much more volatile. So this is people playing with anything from sort of a 48K to a 480K bracket. So, it will be your normal investor that's got quite a lot of money, but not someone that really knows the crypto market, perhaps. Which is why we probably see the volatility that we see. And you can see the volatility is not huge though in terms of numbers, but you have some that are really active. So you probably have a 5% amount, maybe slightly less, which are really active. So you get to this point and then they'll just sell off. Or you get to this point and then they'll sell off. But then you start seeing the accumulation here in the prices of 30Ks, which is nice, and we've had a constant uptrend. However, notice the sell-offs like this and like this, and we're seeing a greater step upwards now. So notice this for the addresses with balance greater than 1. So this is important in looking at what these guys are doing down here. So that's basically, just look at it for now and we'll come back to it later. Addresses with balance greater than 10 Bitcoin. So they sold off and they haven't really recovered. So all the wallets that sold off effectively, all of them haven't come back into the market. Only maybe 2/3 of the size have come back into the market. So overall, this isn't something we really look at and we think, this is brilliant. So we want to be looking at this. We're looking at this thinking this is not great, but it's okay. We look at it. We look at other metrics. So balance greater than 100. So they had the desizing as well in this move. But this move was not legitimate. It was on chain, which is why it's been picked up. But what it is a transfer of coins from one exchange to other exchanges. And rather than hold all their coins in one wallet, obviously for security reasons, they want to reduce their risk and hold it in multiple wallets. So what they did is and you'll notice it's at the end of the month. So at the start of 27th of Feb, we didn't have a move. By the 28th of Feb, we had the move. So these moves are renowned to be done on the last day of the month, which is even more reason, although Glassnode did actually come out and tell us that it was a movement of coins from one exchange to new addresses, basically, for them to store their coins. So it's not a legitimate move. So then we look at this. We can almost discount this big line here. And we look at what was done after it, and we've just had range bound, which means the wallets aren't actually increasing. So really, we're probably still at this level. So they've only really recovered about a third of the amount they sold off. So that's really interesting to note. So the addresses with balance greater than 10 only recovered by 2/3. Addresses with balance greater than 100, obviously we discount this misprint, have only really recovered by a third. Yet the smaller wallets have more than doubled or tripled what they didn't sell off, or what they did sell off, sorry. So that shows you the difference in mentality between the accumulation of the big boys and the accumulation of the small wallets. So really take what I'm saying into consideration about what the different cohorts are doing. Let's look at addresses balance greater than 1K. We don't really look at the 10Ks anymore because Bitcoin is just too highly priced. So similar here. This metric was this movement was on the 28th, so we don't count it. So really, we start here, down at about here. But what we have had is we have had a nice up move, which is good to see. It's not been as clear cut as this one, but it's been pretty good. But we have sold off recently, which means they were selling into the prices at sort of 43, 44. So that shows you, again, the big boys are doing a risk off scenario rather than a risk on scenario. So this is something to take note of. And a lot of the big guys will be institutions, and they will be looking at the Fed, the macro situation. I'll come back onto this in a second. But so far, we've got the smaller guys really heavily accumulating. We've got the big guys starting to increase their wallet amounts, but not in any great fashion. Because bear in mind, there is only 21 million of these things available. So at some point, you are going to get a supply squeeze. It's probably going to be in a few years' time, probably 4 or 5 years' time. It might be soon. It might be like 2, 3. But it's really difficult to know. We don't know what's going to come about in terms of macro events or natural disasters such as a COVID. You never know. So we don't know how quickly the timeline will be sped up or not. But that's what we're looking at, the wallets. We then want to be looking at the lifespan. Are the big boys or small boys selling? So let's look at all coins aged between 1 day and 1 week. Not really. No clear spikes. If there's spikes, that's significant amounts of selling. So it's spent outputs that are aged between 1 week and 1 month old. No, not really. 1 month to 3 months. No, not really. Again, neither for 3 months to 6 months. I noticed a lot of the selling was done up here at this 40. I think it was 44. Yeah, 44. No, it wasn't. It was there at 42. So it was when we failed at 44 the first time, we got a lot of selling off. But the big boys sold off, I think, in this one at 44. Let's look at 6 months to 12 months. Again, you got the sell-offs in there. That's where the spikes were. You got a big amount in there as well. So we can now actually reduce this down to 0 days. Here we go. This is better. Let me go back to 3 months to 6 months. 3 months to 6 months. So they sold there at 42. Coins aged between 6 months and 12 months old, i.e. have not moved for 6 to 12 months. Not too much selling, but they did sell over there. They did sell early at 49k. Although we're not too far off where we are now. So who knows. Spent outputs 1 to 2 years. Again, they sold in these two. Price moves up. So look at spent outputs 2 to 3 years. Again, this is positive. The fact we're not seeing any big spikes into this is good. Because obviously, look, we've seen it in these moves here. So the fact we're not seeing here is positive for now, for sure. Spent outputs 3 year to 5 year. Again, this is all good. 5 year to 7 year. Okay, we're all clear. This is all good. I'm pretty happy with this so far. Let's check the actual network in terms of new addresses. Are there new addresses coming in? Go away. No, not really. So we're uptrending, which is good, but it's not really that clear, to be honest. I would like to see another big move up here. Yeah, I want to see more than this. This isn't really enough, to be honest with you. Let's look at, hopefully we have active address. Yeah, there we go, active addresses. Again, this is not great either. This is in a bit of a downtrend channel with like a clear floor here, which is actually quite cool to see, and a bit of a sort of ceiling. Imagine me drawing a downtrend channel on a chart. That's what this would fit into. But it looks like we will possibly get rejected here. Network status is not that active, so this is definitely something to note. Yeah, okay, that's fine. So this is something, what the summary we get from that is we have some accumulation by the small wallets, not too much by the big wallets. We don't have any real selling at this moment in time because people will probably have the conviction that prices will go higher, although we did see a lot of the big boys sold much earlier. So they sold 1 month, 2 months ago, which is where we saw those big price spikes. So now that's our sort of executive summary on the Glassnode stuff. Let's now look at Whale Map and see what that's saying. So we've still got blue bubbles, which is good. This big blue bubble here was 320k, reduced to 230. So it's still at 230, which is good, which means that the person or the institutions or the wallets that bought that huge block, they haven't sold more than 103 or something thousand of their Bitcoins. They still are holding 230,000. So when this bubble starts shrinking, that's when we can start panicking slightly. But overall, I think we're pretty good. We're still seeing a lot of blue bubbles here, and they're not 12k is not great. Look in the bottom right hand corner, it shows you the number of Bitcoins that were bought in that bubble, which represents, sorry, the number of Bitcoins which represent that bubble. So we've got 56,000 there, which is good. You want to be seeing 50,000 and above, really. So the fact we're seeing 20s, 15s, 36, 43 is okay, 31, 19, 9, 7. It's not brilliant, but it's not bad either. You're still showing some buying, and there's a lot of blue here, which means that the selling is not being done just yet, which is okay, which is what we want to see. But I do feel like if we got to like a 50k rejected down to a 47, you would see a slight bit of worry, a bit of selling from people. Whenever we have the next decent correction, there will be some worries, and that's when we'll see the actual true conviction of the market we're in right now. So that's Whale Map done, that's Glassnode done. Let's look at the charts and look at the S&P. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the new trackpad on my new computer, so it goes the other way as in comparison to my old one. And I'm still using my old one, so I'm probably not helping myself. Let's look at the S&P. So the S&P is actually seeming to now try and get past the orange box. This is good to see. We want to see that the orange boxes are failing, because that means the market should keep going up. But let me explain the Fed situation before I continue. Just checking the stream is still working. I hope the stream is still working for everyone. I'm going to continue. It says my bitrate is quite low, but I'm going to continue. Okay, I'm going to continue. Please let me know in the chat if everything is okay or if the screen is slowed slightly. But let me explain about the Fed situation. So what we're seeing with the Fed situation is this. At this moment in time, inflation is too high. What they're going to end up doing is raising interest rates. The next meeting, I would say, is a 99% chance. The market hasn't got it at that. The market's got it lower than that. But my personal opinion is there's a 99% chance that the Fed will raise interest rates by 0.5%. And what you'll start seeing is they'll start talking about the balance sheet, reducing the size of the balance sheet. If they all good on the stream, okay, perfect, thanks Harold. If they start reducing the size of the balance sheet, what they're effectively doing is all the money they printed in the COVID time, they bought mortgage-backed securities and bonds with this money to put money into the economy, into the system. Now what they're doing is they have too many of these bonds, too many of these mortgage-backed securities, and some of them are coming to their expiration date, so they have to either pay out on them or sell them. So what they're going to do is they're going to start selling these assets back into the market, but they have to start taking some dollars back out of the system to reduce inflation. So they'll sell these assets, these mortgage-backed securities and these bonds, the dollars they get in return for them, they'll keep them off to the side, and they'll effectively be reducing the money supply. So this should help to bring inflation down lower. So this reduction in the balance sheet will be the key thing at the next Fed meeting, which is in May. So we effectively have the rest of March, the next few days, and probably April to go up. Now, the next Fed meeting, I think, is 9th of May. So everyone will be starting to crap themselves a little bit come end of April. So I think we've got the rest of March, we've got probably another 3 weeks in April, and then in the last week of April, people are going to start realizing, oh crap, the Fed meeting is just around the corner, it's just a few weeks away. I want to be risking off now, so that you're going to start seeing the market come down maybe a couple weeks before. If the Fed then comes out in the May meeting and is really aggressive, so they do a 0.5 rate hike, you then might see them talk about reducing the balance sheet in the June meeting, and they might. However, it's based on how aggressive they're going to be with this. If they say they're going to sell assets at a fast rate, then the market will come down for sure, because they know that they have to start curbing inflation. They have to get rid of some of these assets, reduce the balance sheet, and that will basically remove liquidity from the markets and is a very bad sign for risk on assets, which crypto and Bitcoin currently is. So that's where we're at. I think I've seen Harold just say there a double top. A double top could very well be possible here. You know, we might get a little bit of a correction now to like 450, something like that. Mess around in here for a while, come back up to 4.8. You could even see an all-time high. You really could see an all-time high on the S&P. On Bitcoin, I think it's impossible. I really do think it's impossible in the next few months we see an all-time high. But that's what I think will happen. I think we get some movement in here. We may do a slight all-time high, maybe a double top. The S&P comes down on the Fed news. I think the Fed will be very hawkish. It will be very bearish in its stance. And this will be bad for risk on assets such as crypto. So what do we think for crypto over the next 3 weeks? And then how do we think it'll play out? Let's start. Let's look at Bitcoin. So let me go to a bigger time frame, dailies. Oh, I was going to say zoom out, but I zoom in because the trackpad. Here we go. Let me zoom right out. There we go. So as you can see right now, the main orange boxes have worked well so far. This one was a main local one, but still in the main category. This one was a main macro one. So this one worked an absolute treat. You got a little bit higher, but overall it worked an absolute treat. You may start seeing as we get up to this level here. I do think we'll get to this level. I do think we'll get to 52 to 55. We could even possibly go to 58. Get something like we saw here, which is a bear div. You might get a bear div on the previous time frames. So come into the box, a movement down, a slight spike up, maybe a touch of 57.5, 58, and then a rejection down from there. I think we'll see something very similar here to what we saw here. But I don't think we come down and bounce. I think we come down and we dribble all the way down, similar to the 2018 movement down. Yeah, I don't think the looking at Harold's comment about the SEC caring about Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF, I just don't think they'll care. I think they'll just be like, go away. But I think the ETF is not far away. I still think it's probably 6 to 9 months away at absolute minimum. And I think we've still got probably the next 3 months, I'd say, of a movement up in the next month, and then movements down over the next 2-3 months, because you've got the Fed are tightening. So the conditions to invest are absolutely shocking at this point in time. So you're not going to get an explosive Bitcoin. I don't want to say it's impossible, because I would never say anything is impossible, but it's very, I can't see an all-time high between now and say September, October. You've got the Fed, sorry, not the Fed. You've got the midterm elections in the US in November. So they might start putting a lot of pressure on the Fed to be sorting this out now and giving us the pain now, so that when the midterm elections come around, everything is starting to look more rosy again. So I do think we've been in a bear market. We've actually, the on-chain indicators suggest we've been in a bear market since May. This was driven by institutions, not by retail, which is probably why we easily came down so quickly rather than just a capitulation event. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading Harold's comment. I still don't think there's been so many rumors about a spot Bitcoin ETF. It's just never really happened. I think it only goes so far, and then when prices start coming back down again because of liquidity, I just think the conversation will just go straight out the window. But so let's get into let's get into some charts. So I think now for next 3 weeks we should be good. We need a retest. We need a correction here slightly to come back a bit, reset some of this RSI. I think we then get more of a breakout into the 52, 55, 58k zone. I think this orange box will be good probably. I think we'll then come down and dribble down. But for now, the opportunities are good. But I would say the time to load up is when we loaded up last week. If we get a retest, then you can load up into some more plays. But for Bitcoin, I'd want to see a retest somewhere in here of like 44.5 before I consider going gun-ho on it again. Let's look at Ethereum. So Ethereum's a really nice move. I think Ethereum will probably break its orange box, to be honest with you. I think maybe it won't. To be honest, guys, we might only have another 15% in this. Like, there's probably not that much more to actually play for, to be honest. Even though we do have a good 3 or 4 weeks, if you can get a good 3 weeks and see prices go up dramatically, you might be able to come somewhere near like a 65k zone. But I just think the funds at that point are going to start filling their shorts. I don't think they're going to be thinking, oh, we're going to 70k, because they know the macro is so bad. So they're not going to be siding with the fact that Bitcoin's going to go crazy. If the Fed changed their stance and started printing, they would start moving in the long direction again rather than the short direction. But overall, I think we fill these sort of areas and then we come down. For this moment in time on the daily, we're keeping this uptrend. I think this uptrend will probably be broken at some point. For now, I think, we filled our positions 2 weeks ago. There's not much to actually look at here in terms of trades. It's like, cool, we filled our positions, let the market play out and effectively see how they go. But you could load up on any alts that you like if we get a correction in the next couple of days and a horizontal support is held. That's the really key part. So if we... oh, bloody hell. So if we see us come up here, somewhere to like here, for instance, we come down, we hold this line, we hold this line. If we're out of trend, you got to expect a deeper pullback. But if we come down and we hold this sort of level, I would probably buy that, to be honest. Considering if this happened in the next sort of 4 days, knowing we probably still have a good 2 or 3 weeks ahead of us, I'd probably consider buying that. But that's the opportunity I'm looking for. I'm not looking to buy in now whilst we're at a top, or, your reward here is very limited where your risk is max. So you don't want to be taking this as an opportunity. You want to wait for the correction, know that we're still good for the next 3 or 4 weeks and play that long rather. In 4 weeks time, we'll probably flip to playing shorts, hoping that these boxes have all filled. So that's where my head is at. Let's look at a few others. Litecoin's looking nice. Let's check out the volume. Still absolutely rubbish. So we can see it down there. It's starting to improve, but it's still a bit crap, to be honest with you. I'm not really interested. We've claimed one horizontal resistance and that's about it. This is faded off more than anything else, pretty much. I mean, look, it was right up there, and now we're right down here. This is not worth playing. It really isn't. Will this reach its orange box? I would say it's highly unlikely. Sorry, it's been a very long day and very tired, but I would say this one reaching its main orange box is probably impossible. In the short term, in this next month or so, I don't think it's very possible. I'm not looking to play Litecoin. I think if you're going to play coins for longing, this is not the one. FTT, I was eyeing as if we made this move up here. I was saying if we can get a retest of 47.80, I will definitely be looking to long. Of course, we never get the retest, but that's why we loaded up on the ones we did get the retest on, rather than ones we didn't. So you go where the opportunity lies. There's not a huge difference between chasing a winner and chasing a loser. If you buy in here, you're chasing a winner, and as I said, your reward is quite low and your risk is quite high. This is not worth it playing this coin right now. If we can come back and retest 47, yeah, your risk reward is now in your favor again. It's now worth playing. But right now, buying in here is not worth playing. Overall, we've got a short-term bullish structure, so you don't want to short it either. So stay away, pick something else. Let's look at Solana. This is our baby at this moment in time. So we're close to this horizontal resistance here, but I don't think it should be too much resistance. I think the main area will be, will be this orange box here. I would love to think we can get to this one. I think it will be unlikely though. And I've spoken with, so there's a few people I respect in the community. Well, there's a lot of people I respect, but I think there's a lot of people that are like just complete shillers. And I've spoken with a few people that are similar to myself, and a few of us think that we go to 120 if we're really lucky, 150, but overall that's going to be it, and you're going to see another down move. Along with Bitcoin, and I'm seeing a lot of crypto Twitter get really excited. Bitcoin's going to go back to all-time highs. Like, the conditions are not there, guys. It's just a bad opinion. It's a wrong opinion. It's not gonna happen. But of course I can be wrong, but I just think it's really unlikely. I've been doing this a long time now. I'm young. I'm still 25, but I've been doing this a long time. And I can't see it, especially under these conditions. Risk on assets don't pump. They don't move well because the liquidity is not there. Now, if I flip it and I say, well, the Fed is actually going to be selling its assets back into the market, the dollars they get for those assets, they're going to pull back out of the system and keep there to reduce the money supply, which helps to reduce inflation. Now liquidity is actually not even just not improving, it's actually getting worse. The Fed is taking money out of the markets. So how are risk on assets ever going to fly under those conditions? It's impossible. I never say impossible. It's like a 99% chance, but it's not going to happen. It really isn't going to happen. So what I'm watching for, firstly is this horizontal resistance, then the orange box. I would love to see us hit the orange box, come down, retest 115, hold above it, build some support, and then pop again. Hopefully we can do this between the, look at my cursor, it's the sort of late April. We can do that in this time frame here, all good. We would have made a real lot of money there. So that would be really nice. But other than that, again, don't chase a winner. Do not buy in now. You're buying in at resist. I can't stress it more. Do not buy it now. But if you've already bought it, I've already bought it. As I said, I did spot play and a futures perpetual play, so a derivatives contract. I longed it, 10x with leverage. That leverage is what I was looking for, the word. Hold again. Whatever I update in the group is what I'm personally doing. So I'm more than happy to hold what we've got so far. So BNB, really nice. It's failed the local orange box. So hopefully we could get up and test this one. That would be really nice. Will we do it? I think it's possible. I think it's unlikely. I think you'll get somewhere like this and people will be calling for a mass head and shoulders. When it comes down to there, you'll get something like that. And then you could really break down when if Bitcoin goes to 24K, say I'm correct, and it does. I think Bitcoin in every bear market has returned to its cost average. So far, that cost average lies between late 23K and 26K. So, and that's happened every single bear market that we've had in the entire Bitcoin existence. So that tells me with a Fed tightening situation for 4 to 6 months, can we revisit those levels? 100% we can visit those levels. Well, there's 99% chance we can visit those. No, well, there's just a decent chance we can visit those levels. I don't like pinning the stats on it. But let's look at BNB. Everything tells me on BNB we can get a bit more, but sorry, we are in a, where's my cursor here? Everything says we're in this kind of uptrend. So the thing we're watching for is, will this be broken? Probably looking something more like this. So yeah, so there's a strong chance this can be broken. We can revisit something like here at 406, but now we're above this horizontal resistance. If we can get a close above these two levels, that's really positive. That's what you want to see. If we can get a move then to 560 and then retest 459 and then retest 440, I would consider longing 440. But again, you want to be buying in the retest. You don't want to be buying in these big moves up, because your risk to reward is not in your favor. Well, it's just not very positive. Matic finally claimed its horizontal resistance at 170, although it has had a really nice uptrend. Volume is still poor. I don't think personally I want to be chasing this one. There's better opportunities elsewhere. If we come down and retest 170, that's not really enough. What is that? It's a 4% correction. That's just not really enough. I don't want to see this come down and retest maybe this level at 154. If we got that, I'd consider buying. But on this one, I wouldn't, because we'd be below the horizontal resistance again. So this one, Matic, for me, is not a player. Polkadot. Polkadot is definitely a player. If we can come down and retest this very late 20s, so somewhere between 20 and 21, I will consider buying it. Yeah. I like the volume is still downtrending. The volume is not brilliant, but we're starting to see some positive aspects here. I think this is one that's probably better just to be checking and keeping track of, rather than looking for active trades right now. Again, as I said, the active trades were towards the back end of last week or middle of last week when we went into Solana and Curve, so those are really nice. Solana, we still have 50% of the position open. Curve, we have 75% of the position open, so I'll do Curve last. Chainlink, so I'm really sorry, I can't remember who it was that told me about this downtrend on Chainlink. So far this is really nice that we've broken this main downtrend. I think we can get to 22, and that'll be the retest of the uptrend line. If we can get to this area here, I think that would be a great opportunity to short, because that's what's that, 5, 10, 20, oh, it's 20. I don't know if we'll get there. I think it's like 25% from where we are, sort of 20-25% from where we are. So can we get that? I think it's possible we get it. I think I'll be looking to fill shorts here, and I'll have a tight stop loss sort of above 22. But this is one of the shorts I'm considering or looking to play for when the market conditions are right. As of now, they're not right, but in 4 weeks' time, they will be right, I believe. But let's see if I'm correct on all that. I think I will be, just from what the Fed is saying. They're gearing towards what I think they're going to do. So yeah, that's where our position is now. AVAX, really nice play. Broke out the downtrend line. Go away. Broke out the downtrend channel. I think we can test this orange box. I think if we get to this orange box, what's that? 16 or so % away. I think it's very possible we fill this and go lower. Yes. Again, AVAX hasn't been a clear player for me. I was looking at this line here, thinking, well, we've got below the downtrend line, having had a nice test here, and then in here, and a clean break below. I thought on these retests it might be worth shorting. Good job I didn't short it. And the only reason I didn't short it is because the volume was so weird. It was so up and down. And I thought something crazy could happen. And then we got this. So I'm pleased that I didn't short this. I'd possibly wait for more confirmations before thinking about shorting this in 4 weeks' time. But I think there'll be other plays to look at rather than this one right now in terms of shorting in 3-4 weeks' time. So now in terms of longing it, the long would have been to be in this flag. But again, I'm not that comfortable trading AVAX for some reason. It's just one of the ones I'm not too comfortable with. I don't think it has clear pattern breaks. Of course, here, this one did have a clear pattern break. But this one here was not clear because we broke below and then we smashed straight through. So this one I'm not really too interested in. Luna, oh, nice move on Luna. So that's now redundant. Volume is really positive. We're starting to see that you're going to get some bear divs, some heavy bear divs, but we're not exactly overbought. So this is one to keep a watch of. This is sort of like my nemesis, this coin. I always just seem to not be able to play it well. But if I just played my boxes, it would have worked an absolute treat. Obviously, you would have bought in at the 50s. And now you'd be in at 101, so you'd have doubled your money just by playing spot. So you'd be up 1,000% playing a 10x leverage. But this is not one I really like playing, to be honest. So here, you can get these really weird candles. Like this one shot straight up and then shot straight down. Like it's just not one I really like. So I'll stay away from this for now. If you own this, if you're long this, I would consider desizing. So so if you've got, I don't know, 100 of them, maybe sell 35 of them and continue with the rest. But I would think about taking, if you've got some of these alts and you own a lot of them and they've really run over the last week or so, I would definitely consider taking some size off the table, because you're better off having USDT to go in new opportunities. This one's already made its run. You know, how much more could this go? Could this go to like 130 and do a 30% move? Probably not. So they look for those opportunities that are elsewhere. We're now also at a real horizontal resistance with all the previous highs. So let's see how it does. But yeah, we'll do Phantom, Sand, and then Curve. So Phantom is interesting. It's not really gained any strength in comparison to anything else. We've got this nice uptrend line, but we didn't really claim any major horizontal resistances other than this one, which we very quickly got above. We're now testing the main one now. I haven't been interested in this the whole time, to be honest. And I again, still, I'm not interested in it here. We've had a big move up. So if we do actually get a move above the horizontal resistance, I'm still not going to be that incentivized to actually start longing it. So yeah, I'm just not too interested. I think the opportunities were elsewhere. Curve, for instance, we got above the horizontal resistance, we got above this one, broke out the downtrend, and then got above this one, and the volume was starting to look a bit more, just a bit more better. So so that was something that really sort of filled us with a bit of confidence. So here we're looking at this local orange box. I'd like to think we can get past this. I really do. I think for now we're possibly due a retest because we've made some like decent moves up. There's no reason why we can't just keep going. I think we took 25% off the table at 266. So now we're at 270. This is really nice considering we got in. I think average price for a lot of you guys was 234, something like this, 234. So you're up really nicely. I think you're up probably 15% spot, 150% leverage. So again, these are the opportunities to play. Play the ones where the opportunity is right. Get the low hanging fruit, which is what Curve was. We now want to see how it does at this zone and at this one. Oh, I said I'd do Sand as well. Sorry, I will come back to that. We want to see how it tests at this zone. This is also where we are right now, is a bit of a resistance level at 270. So let's see how we do there also. And obviously the one above that is 348. As I said, we've probably still got another 4 weeks or so. So this can continue to run possibly, but let's see how we do. Last coin is Sand, and then I'm calling it a day. Okay, so this one is looking much nicer. If we can get a retest of 344, this is the one that looks most promising to me. I don't like the volume, but I like the fact we've been able to claim new levels, break out the downtrend, hold this horizontal support, get above this horizontal resistance, and now try and test this. I would love to see us either retest it, to test 393, come down to 344, and then build some support on 344. That would encourage me to buy. If we just come down, we don't test 393 and we just come down to 344, if we can hold above it nicely and show a couple of days of doing so, I will consider longing it. So the opportunity for me that looks best in terms of on the horizon is Sand. The ones we're currently in are Curve and Sol. Happy days, just continue to hold for the next few weeks at least. But yeah, I believe that is all. I'm going to end the stream there unless we have any questions. Please let me know if we do have questions in the chat. If you do, ask away and I'll answer them for you. If not, let me know in the chats and I'll get back to you at some point this evening, first thing in the morning. But I'll be on my phone this evening, so I'll be able to get back to you. Any questions, let me know in the chats. I'm just waiting now. I don't think we're getting anything. Nope. Okay, I'm going to call it a day. If you have any questions, let me know in the chats in the Discord, and I'll be more than happy to get back to you with my thoughts. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. I'll give you guys a nice on-chain update. Thanks everyone.